A dramatic shift, Biden's warning to Israel. The world watched with bated breath. Tensions were high. President Biden had a stark message for Israel: no support for strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. This declaration sent shockwaves through the international community. It marked a potential turning point in the Middle East's complex geopolitical landscape. This decision was not made lightly. It carries enormous weight. The United States and Israel have a long-standing alliance. They have stood shoulder to shoulder for decades. However, Biden's message signaled a shift in U.S. foreign policy. Was this the beginning of a new chapter in the Middle East? The stakes couldn't be higher. Iran's nuclear program has been a source of global concern for years. Israel views it as an existential threat. The possibility of a nuclear-armed Iran is a nightmare scenario for the Jewish state. Biden's warning to Israel was a clear signal. The U.S. is committed to diplomacy. But for how long? The world waits to see what will unfold in this high-stakes standoff. The future of the Middle East hangs in the balance. To understand the current tensions, we must look back. Iran and Israel have a long and troubled history. Their relationship has been marked by conflict and mistrust. The roots of their animosity run deep. After the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Iran severed ties with Israel. It became a vocal critic of Israel's policies towards the Palestinians. Tensions escalated, proxy wars erupted. Both nations accused each other of supporting terrorism and inciting violence. The specter of nuclear weapons further inflamed their rivalry. Iran's nuclear ambitions have been a constant source of anxiety for Israel. Israel, believed to possess its own nuclear arsenal, views a nuclear-armed Iran as an existential threat. The possibility of a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran's nuclear facilities has been a looming threat. It's a dangerous game of brinkmanship. The consequences of such an attack would be catastrophic. The United States finds itself in a precarious position. It's caught between its commitment to Israel's security and its desire to prevent a nuclear-armed Iran. The U.S. has long been a staunch ally of Israel. It has provided billions of dollars in military aid. However, the U.S. also recognizes the importance of diplomacy. The Obama administration negotiated the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as the Iran nuclear deal. This agreement imposed restrictions on Iran's nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief. The Trump administration withdrew from the JCPOA in 2018. This move was condemned by many world leaders. It heightened tensions in the region. The Biden administration has expressed a willingness to rejoin the JCPOA. However, negotiations have been difficult. The U.S. is walking a diplomatic tightrope. It's trying to balance its interests and its alliances in one of the most volatile regions in the world. The path forward is fraught with challenges. Section 4. A world divided, global reactions to Biden's stance. Biden's warning to Israel has elicited a mixed bag of reactions from the international community. Some nations applaud Biden's commitment to diplomacy. They see it as a crucial step towards de-escalating tensions in the region. They urge both Iran and Israel to exercise restraint and engage in dialogue. Others, however, express concern over Biden's stance. They argue that it could embolden Iran and make it less likely to negotiate in good faith. They believe that a firm stance against Iran is necessary to prevent the country from acquiring nuclear weapons. Russia and China, both with complex relationships with Iran, have urged caution and restraint. They have called for a return to the negotiating table to revive the JCPOA. The European Union, a key player in the JCPOA negotiations, has also expressed its support for diplomacy. The world is divided on how to handle Iran. The stakes are high, the consequences of failure are immense. Navigating the uncertain future of U.S.-Middle East relations. Biden's warning to Israel signals a potential shift in U.S. foreign policy. It raises questions about the future of the U.S. Israel relationship. It also casts uncertainty over U.S. efforts to contain Iran's nuclear ambitions. The U.S. faces a difficult path ahead. It must navigate the complex web of alliances and rivalries. The Biden administration has signaled a willingness to engage in diplomacy with Iran. However, it remains to be seen whether these efforts will be successful. The future of U.S.-Middle East relations is uncertain. Section 6. The power of diplomacy, a plea for peace in a volatile region. The situation in the Middle East is a stark reminder of the importance of diplomacy. Dialogue and negotiation are the only path to a lasting peace. Military action should always be a last resort. The consequences of conflict in the Middle East would be catastrophic. The international community must work together to find a peaceful resolution to the Iranian nuclear issue. We must engage in dialogue with all parties involved. We must build trust and understanding. We must seek common ground. The future of the Middle East hangs in the balance. The time for diplomacy is now. We must not let the flames of conflict engulf the region. The world is watching. History will judge us by our actions. Let us choose peace.